Hello, everyone. I'm excited today, number one, because we've made it to episode 3 of The Plus. And today, things are a little bit different. It's just me, no panelists. And the reason behind that is because I want to take a moment to explain The Plus. So, we've had episodes to air and we shared stories and thoughts. But today, I want to pause for a moment to offer something a little more foundational in reference to the plus. And I want to give you the heartbeat behind the podcast because the message that started it all is so far beyond just the podcast or just the title. It's a truth and it's a mirror. And if you let it, it can be a turning point in your life. See, the plus for me, and I'm hoping for many of us going forward, is the addition to it all. I have gotten to a place of being eye opening or understanding that you don't have to wait for someone to create a platform for you or open up a door for you. You can create the platform for yourself. You can take steps into what it is that's inside of you and move forward on that without someone else's permission or without waiting on someone to afford you what you may think is an opportunity that you're waiting on. And so your plus is all that you do, it's all that anyone sees in you and the more. It's that doing too much, over the top. Sometimes people may call extra, but it's that something that lives inside of you. It's those gifts in you that lie dormant or unspoken, or the thing that you carry that you may not have fully claimed yet, and you're well aware of what that thing is, but you haven't decided to own it. And that's something about you that people around you may not be aware of yet, but we all have it. Some people live in it, some people run from it, others have a tendency to ignore it because it feels too heavy or too bright or too misunderstood because of someone else's perspective on what it is that you have inside of you. But I believe that every person, no matter what your story, what your struggle, your season, everyone has a plus. And it's a purpose. It's that unique layer of greatness that's waiting to be activated inside of you. So whether you're 20, 25, and you're figuring things out in life, or anywhere from 60 or 70 and still evolving, this space is absolutely for you because it's not about being perfect. It's just about being willing to show up and tune in so we can peel back the layers. This podcast is a space just for that. And it's for reflection and challenge and for encouragement to break you outside of the mold. It's for real talk. And some episodes may feel like a mirror, like it's directed towards you, and then others may feel like a push. But every word and every moment is designed to help us as a whole unlock that extra part of us that I want you to lock in and take this journey with me. We'll talk about life and purpose and possibilities, but all in all, we're going to talk about the plus and what it is and activating it and moving to the greatness that it holds. And it literally lies within each of us. Now, for me, I didn't always have the words, but I knew that there was something more inside of me. There were times in my life when, I would hear people say stuff like, you've got something special, or you make things feel different when you show up. And I appreciated those things. I'll say thank you, but I didn't always believe them wholeheartedly. I didn't receive the words that they were saying. and I didn't know what to do with it always. Like, I hear you, but now what? It's kind of the mindset. So oftentimes I'd smile, and I'm sure you can relate in some situations, but you nod and you just keep it moving. But the truth was, for me, deep down, there was a tension. I felt like I was living a few inches away from who I was really supposed to be. And I was showing up, yes, and doing the work and saying the right things and handling business and responsibilities. But there was something else unspoken within me. And I could feel the stirring inside of me. So whether you can relate to it as being a fire or a whisper, that still small voice, that divine relentlessness, it's real. And I started to realize that the feeling wasn't about ego. It wasn't about trying to prove anything to anyone else, but it was about becoming fully aligned with myself, with the calling on my life and the potential in my own voice. It was about being aware of the impact that I was meant to have. So, with that, that's where the plus was born. Taking hold of the impact, creating the platform for me to be able to reach other people. And it started as simple as with a thought, a question. What if I stopped playing small? Or what if I stopped apologizing for the way that I see the world, or the way I carry things or speak on things, or the things that I care deeply about, simply because of, again, the way somebody else may view what it is that I have inside of me? And what if that extra layer that people kept noticing wasn't too much, but it was exactly right, literally for such a time as this? And for you, maybe you felt something similar. Maybe you spent parts of your life shrinking in certain rooms or dimming your light around certain people because you didn't want to outshine them, or you didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And you've been in positions where you were holding back your ideas and your creativity and your gifts because you weren't sure that the world was ready. Or maybe even you weren't sure that you were ready. And I not only say these things because I see it, I say it because I know firsthand what it feels like to be in those positions even now, or be of that mindset. But I want you to hear me clearly, that you are ready. You may not feel perfect. You may not have every answer. And we're still walking this thing out to figure it all out. So there'll always be some questions. But at the end of the day, you're ready to take one step forward towards the plus. That next level version of you that doesn't just survive life, but lives it fully. This podcast became a way of stepping into it, speaking from it, creating space for others to do the same. And this is what I want us to be able to do. I don't want it to be entertainment. I want it to be a voice that reaches you, that you may be motivated to reach somebody else. And I realized that I didn't just want to inspire people, I wanted to ignite people. I wanted to hold a space for those who've been walking around with untapped brilliance or buried stories and quiet gifts, and remind them that they're not crazy and they're not too late, nor are they asking for too much. They're asking for what they were born to do. God has created you for a purpose, and He foreknew you. So it's already designed and aligned for you to walk in that thing. So when you hear me say the plus, know that I'm not talking about perfection, popularity, or hustle culture. And I'm not here to sell some big fantasy. I'm just here to remind you, remind myself, And anybody that I encounter of a truth that your life, your story, your voice, it all has a plus to it. And once you find it, there's no going back, because you'll realize that playing small was never your assignment in the first place. Falling back from the greatness that lies within is not an option. Take heed to the unsettling spirit that lies within you, the seed that needs to be watered so your fruit can flourish to literally bless somebody else. Walk in that thing and understand that the plus, really at its core, is the extra layer of you, the extra layer that exposes who you really are. The layer that's not required, it's not expected, but is deeply authentic, because you're genuine in your actions and what you give from what's inside of you. And it's not about doing more just for the sake of being busy. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground. The plus is about rising into more of who you were created to be, the more that already exists inside of you. And it's waiting for permission and attention and activation. Again, that seed is waiting to be watered so it may flourish. It's that instinct to go deeper when everyone stays surface, because your drive and your attention are different. It's the vision to see possibilities when others only see problems. It's your creativity, your perspective, your compassion, your leadership, all those things that you do that may seem small to you, they hit different. They leave an impact and carry weight. And most importantly, the plus is often the part of you that you've overlooked, because we were taught to focus on the basic things, or the monotonous stuff of the day, and get that stuff done. So you have a checklist, or you have to be in this image, or the resume has to be perfect. But the plus inside of you cannot be correlated on paper. It's not a title, it's not what you've done, it's who you are beyond what you do. It's that greater inside of you, that will, the gifts that will put you before great men, that will have your name spoken in rooms before you even get there. Think about this for a moment. How many times have people complimented you on something you barely noticed about yourself? They may tell you how you always know how to bring clarity, or they may compliment you on how you light up a room when you speak. It's that God-given gift that's flourishing inside of you. And it's not random, it's not coincidence. That's the plus showing itself quietly and consistently. And it's waiting for you to recognize it. And what I've learned is that most people don't ignore their plus because they're lazy. They kind of brush it off to the wayside because they don't think it matters, or is not significant in that moment. Or somebody may have said something to you to cause you to pull back, like you're doing too much. Or sometimes in life, everything around you can get so loud that you forget to listen to that inner voice. But it matters, and you matter. And the plus inside of you is not some luxury, it's a part of your identity. It's a part of the purpose that you have to fulfill, because your life is designed to minister to somebody else, and somebody is waiting to be reached. It's part of your design. And to put it this way, you can live a good life operating in your strengths, or you can live a God life when you start operating from the gifts that He's placed inside of you, those deep, often hidden parts of you. And that's when life starts to shift, because you're in alignment. It's according to his will and his design. And that's when fulfillment kicks in. That's when the room gets quiet because people feel different in your presence. You set the atmosphere without even saying a word. So it's not about being famous. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being aligned with the part of you that was never meant to stay small. But here's the catch: the plus isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it shows up in subtle kindness or in the way that you refuse to let someone feel unseen. And that's just a natural ability that you have to help someone else. It's part of your plus. Sometimes it's in your ability to solve problems when others get stuck, or it could be in your voice or your story, your resilience, or the way you've turned pain into purpose. And a conversation prior that we've had here on the plus, we were talking about your problem ultimately leading to your purpose. So your vision and your experience of having gone through something that appeared to be a problem, that was only a stepping stone into the journey of who God has created you to be, that is for somebody else. That's a part of your story. That's a part of your ministry. That's the plus that lies inside of you that you can allow to just sit because somebody needs it. And when you're not living from that area of your life, something is off. It's not fulfilled. There's a void that's there. And that sense of I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, but something's still missing, or that ache to be seen or to be impactful. You want to feel like you're not just going through the motions. And that's your plus, trying to get your attention. But here's the beautiful thing about it all: you don't need to go find it in the world. You don't need a new job or a new platform or some big break to tap into it. You already have it because it's already in you. So, this podcast, this space is about helping you remember, helping you stir up the gift, and know that your value isn't tied into performance, that your impact isn't limited to what's on your resume, because the black and white will never do you the justice of the gifts that you are to walk into, the talents that you were blessed with long before you ever even knew. And those gifts and talents, the real ones, they're not random, they are intentional. You were built with something extra. And those things weren't to overwhelm other people. They weren't meant for you to attempt to prove yourself, but they were designed for you to walk in perfect purpose, to shift atmospheres, and to be a light in dark places. That's what the plus is. And once you understand it, once you recognize it, once you realize that you've had it all along, you start to show up differently. You speak differently with confidence, walking in rooms like you were created to be there, designed to be in the place, or the room was set up for you. You dream differently and you stop asking for permission. You start owning who you really are. This is me, and I walk in the greatness because I am who God says I am and nobody else, not according to their perspective or not being limited according to their limitations, because that's what people will do to you when they haven't stepped into their greatness. And now that we've talked about what the plus is, I want us to kind of pay attention to what may happen if we ignore it. Because the truth is, many people do. And it's not on purpose, but slowly and silently over time, Life can get loud. Expectations of the world can pile up. We can even allow fear to creep in. And before you know it, that extra layer of you, the gift and the edge and the depth, it gets buried under survival and performance or just busyness of life because we're not tapping into us, because we have a tendency to put everybody before us or before our needs or before our desires. And that begins to feel in life like you're checking off all the boxes, but there's still something inside of you that's falling flat. There's more, and you know that there's more, but we get overwhelmed with everything else. So you're present in rooms, but you're not all there. Or you're smiling in pictures, but deep down inside, you're wondering, is this all I'm made for? You're telling yourself that it's fine, but your soul is craving more. Greater is He that lives in you, and the greater is longing to be shown. So ignoring the plus doesn't just delay your growth, it quietly drains your joy because you're not invited to live below your purpose and you're not built to play small. And your joy is the joy that the world didn't give to you. So the world shouldn't be able to take it away. But that joy, unspeakable joy, that peace that passes all understanding because you know you're being fulfilled and you're all right with where you are. Now, you may function just fine, but you feel that ache, that quiet grief of what could have been, what should be. I call it the shoulda, coulda, wouldas because there are so many avenues of what you could have done, you should have done, you would have done, and you didn't. And it shows up in subtle ways. So ignoring it stirs some of the negativity up and it can cause frustration that builds when you feel your days are repetitive or life just feels like you're clocking in and out. And it can oftentimes create an envy that creeps in when you see others walking in their purpose. And no, it's not because you don't support them, but it's because you full well know that you've got something too. You just haven't moved on it yet. So that irritation within yourself, when you know you're capable of more, it begins to stir and it begins to cause your outlook to be different. And you may use excuses like you're too tired or you're too distracted or you're too unsure to start. Then you begin to regret it because time passes. And had you started, you could be here by now. But it's not the kind of regret that comes from failing again. It's the kind that comes from never even taking the first step to start in the first place. It comes from staying silent when you had a story to tell, or from withholding your gift because you fear judgment. And I can attest to that because I've multiple times been in that type of situations, but it's time out. So from staying in rooms that felt safe when you were called to build your own, I don't say this to deter you. I say it to wake you up because it feels great just to make the attempt. It feels great to know that you're doing something that you were called to do, you were led to do, that you know within your spirit is a part of you that desires to come out. And time doesn't wait for perfect timing, and opportunities don't wait until you feel confident. And your calling, it doesn't disappear, but it gets harder to hear when we allow life to keep turning up the volume on everything else except our inner voice. So let me ask you this. What's the cost of staying quiet when your voice was meant to shift the room. And what's the cost of never starting the thing that's been tugging at your heart for years? What's the cost of shrinking just to make others feel comfortable when you know that you were built to expand? You don't want to just reach new levels, but you want to reach new dimensions. Come outside of the box that you've been placed in and see that there's greater. The cost is peace. The cost is fulfillment. The cost is purpose delayed. And sometimes, if you let that thing linger, it can be purpose denied. Because if you don't use it, you can lose it. But the good news of it all is that you can still choose differently right now, today, because now faith is. And if you're going to trust and believe that you can step out on it and that your steps will be ordered, you can decide that your plus is worth exploring, that your light is worth turning all the way on, and that your life, like your real life, the one that's inside of you, deserves to be lived fully and not filtered, not watered down, not monotonous, or just going through the motions. But it starts with awareness and the courage. And it starts with one honest moment with yourself, where you may look in the mirror and literally tell yourself, I've got more in me, and I'm done pretending that I don't. I know that there's greater, and mediocrity is not acceptable. And having heard the words, and hopefully you feel the truth of it, and you sense that plus that's inside of you at this point, you know that there's more. And maybe you've known for a long time. Some of the things within me I've known for a long time, and other things are just beginning to flourish because I'm seeking Him. But the question becomes, how do we tap into it? And so, what I want you to do is just breathe for a moment. Don't get overwhelmed, because tapping into the plus doesn't mean that you need to change your whole life overnight. And it doesn't mean that you require a full rebrand of some massive leap. Tapping into the plus starts small. It's intentional, but just small. It starts with the awareness, just acknowledging who you are and what you were created to be, seeking God for your purpose. And you can't activate what you're not willing to acknowledge. Acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He will direct your paths. So the first step is to notice. Pay attention to the moments where you feel most alive, where you thrive, where life naturally brings you joy. Or look at when you feel connected to something that's deeper than just your routine. Or think about when people lean in when you speak, or the gift that you have when you exercise it, when people really take heed to it. Or when do you catch your own self smiling for no reason? And it's not because something happened, but because something aligned. And that's where your plus begins to show up. And while many times I may not receive the recognition or any accolades for doing what it is that I naturally want to do, the fact that I see that I did that, it gives me joy. And nobody can take that away, because I'm walking in what I was purposed to do. And you'll be blessed to be a blessing to somebody else. And it's a light for me unto my own path. So what I want to do with that is give you a few questions. And they're ones that I've asked myself when I started this journey, but just kind of invite you to sit with them and reevaluate yourself. You may need to journal. You may need to speak them out loud, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you speak over yourself. You respond to the questions in a manner that you believe that you can walk in. And so think about what people consistently thank you for that you might overlook. And let your answer be an affirmation to yourself. It might seem like it's no big deal to you, but it's a blessing in someone else's eyes in ways that you can't even see. I was able to bless them with X, Y, and Z. I am the lender and not the borrower. Or what do you love, or what things or activities did you enjoy doing before the world told you to become practical? Like before the job and the expectations and the bill paying and responsibilities. What did you do that lifted you up or that lit you up? And again, when you did it, you could look back and see that that's my work and somebody else is appreciating the dreams or the ideas that keep coming back to you, no matter how much you try to silence it. What is it that you tried to bury that won't go away? Or what is it that you might keep pushing off or telling yourself maybe later? Those things aren't coincidence. They're your calling being persistent. But with that, think about also, where do you shrink? Pay attention to those environments where the situations that you're in cause you to hold back. And not because you don't have value, not because you're afraid it'll be too much, but maybe the atmosphere isn't right. So you fall back. And allow these things to be a compass to you. Pay attention to the ideas that we just spoke about to see how you need to move and grow in the areas that you do flourish in, because you've got something in you, something greater. And it doesn't have to be a dramatic change to move in that direction and to tap into it. It might mean something as simple as speaking up in a room where you're usually staying silent, or revisiting an old idea with fresh courage. You might want to reach out to somebody who has inspired you and start a real conversation, because you never know how your voice will be a light to them. They may need that for confirmation, and it's waiting on you to come outside of your comfort zone. So you may take 15 minutes a day to work on the gift that's buried under excuses, by writing the first paragraph or recording the first voice note or sketching the first draft. And just know that you don't need perfection. You need momentum. You need consistency. You need to execute and not let it fall by the wayside any further, because the plus grows as you use it. The more you step into it, the louder it speaks, and speaks for you. And something beautiful happens when you start living from that space. You stop needing applause and you start living from alignment. You begin to realize that this thing in me, it was never waiting on the world, it was waiting on me. And let me tell you, let me tell you, the moment you stop waiting for someone else to choose you or to validate you or to grant you permission, that's the moment you step into power, real power. That's when your life begins to shift. And it's not just for you, but it's for the people around you. You have an anointing on your life, and it begins to flow onto others. And because the plus isn't just for your personal gain, it becomes a contribution to others, and it's what brings you into rooms and into relationships and even into your community, because your name is being shared, your gift is being exposed to others, and you'll come in contact with people that you never even imagined. When you own your light, when you give other people permission to do the same thing, it's a domino effect. So when you speak your truth and you make space for others to heal, it only allows someone else beyond them to heal as well. When you walk in your purpose, you shift the atmosphere and you're not even trying. And when you begin to realize you were never doing too much in the first place, you then understand that you were doing exactly what you were born to do. So don't wait for the perfect timing because it'll never get here. Don't wait on all the fear to leave because I walk in rooms while I'm still jittery and shaking and nervous. But just start now. Start messy, start unsure. Just start. What do you have to lose? Because your plus doesn't need to be flawless. And I'm continuing to try to walk that thing out now and just accepting it for what it is. Because you'll grow as you go. And your plus just needs you to be faithful. Stay committed. And for those of you who have had it and walked in it before, stay committed this time. So as you've heard the heart of it and the why of the plus and the truth behind it, I hope you really received it and know that it's not just a podcast, it's a path. It's a reminder and a calling. And I want to leave you with this. You don't need to chase something new in order to be valuable. You don't need to wait on some big promotion or a spotlight or someone to finally recognize you. What's inside you is already enough. It's already yours. So the plus is not becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. If you just allow it to have space in your life, you'll begin to see that it was always meant to be. And some of us spend our lives looking outward and trying to find the next big thing or the next source of validation or the next breakthrough. But maybe the breakthrough is inward. Maybe what you're looking for is already there, but it's buried beneath fear or pressure or distractions or the noise of other people who didn't understand your depth. So my hope is that this podcast, that our plus together becomes more than just background noise for your day. I want it to be a mirror and one that helps you see yourself more clearly, not allowing outlook or perspective on who you are to deter you from what lies ahead and being on the path that has already been laid for you. I want this to be a nudge from a gentle but yet firm voice that says, you have got more. And I want it to be proof that no matter where you are in life, it's never too late to tap into your gift. Never too late to start fresh or to lean in and go deeper. Launch out into the deep. You're not average, and you know that you're not. You're not random, nor are you incapable of giving what you've got, which is that something extra. You have got the plus. And I promise you that once you decide to walk in it and not visit it, but really, really live from that place, you'll wonder why you ever doubted it in the first place. So I want I want it to resonate with you. And I want you to think about it. And I want to thank you for just being here and listening and reflecting and maybe even rethinking a few things in your own life. And if you've made it to this point, I'm appreciative. To this point in the conversation, to the third podcast, because we're growing and the journey is just beginning. I'm honored to take it with you. And in future episodes, I want to go deeper. I want to unpack real topics of identity, purpose, healing, and boundaries, all through the lens of the plus. And I want you to tap in. I want you to tap into your plus and allow me the opportunity to hear about your growth. Share it with me. So, whether you're just starting or whether you're plugging back into it, wherever it is that you are with those gifts that lie inside of you, and oftentimes it's more than one. So just be aware again, if you're seeking God first, He'll order your steps because the steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord and He delights in His ways. So it's like aligning yourself with who you are called to be is not always easy, but it has purpose. And the difficult areas are just stepping stones that are aligning you according to the promise and the plan that He has laid for you. So I want us to be able to reconvene. I want you to let me know, message me until we come together again on the thing that you have tapped into. I want to take the journey with you, that you can tell me about your progress. Tell me the first steps that you made and where you are. And for some, it may be day one, day three, day five. For others, it may be 3, 6, 9 months, a year. But I want us to take this journey together as we tap into our plus and grow, and how others have been affected, and how much more gratifying it is to walk in the greatness that you have without opinion mattering. Allow this to become a conversation for us, even though sometimes it may feel like a challenge, but I want all of it to be rooted in truth. And the next time we'll dive into those things. If you let me know, and don't allow fear to deny you of your purpose. Don't let your fear contaminate your faith. So make sure you come back, bring your journal. I need you to bring your heart, your whole self. And until then, I need you in your life to take up space that you rightfully own, and own your own story. And never forget that you carry something powerful inside of you, and that something is purposeful. It's the plus. So I'll see you next time. I thank you for joining me. I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe so we can build our community together. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and iHeart. We absolutely need your support so we can grow together. We can build this thing and take this ride. Thanks, guys.